Good morning, everybody. Semi-retired Bob here. I talk about the carnivore diet, all things related to the carnivore diet, and some other odds and ends. Today is November the 1st, and today we're going to talk about my experiment with coffee and I don't know what else. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's video. As predicted, it did storm a bunch last night. As you can see, maybe the parking lot is still damp out here. And it hasn't been raining for about an hour and a half. So I expect the trails over at the park are pretty damp. I'm hoping I'll get back over there tomorrow for a little bit. We shall see what happens. But I'm going to change my route up just a little bit on the parking lot, because since I did the trail hike yesterday and realized how different it is to walk on the trail versus walking on a smooth parking lot. I'll show you when I get around there. But, oh, here comes the truck. Big old logging truck. Zoom! He actually was probably going about the speed limit. He just got a really old, loud truck. But when I get around there, I'll show you the add-on. Instead of coming up the side of the parking lot by my truck and my trailer, when I get to the back corner, I'm going to walk out into the field behind the church. So that I was carrying, because their dumpster sits at the far end of that field, like on the far side of all the church buildings. And I walked out to the dumpster yesterday to throw my trash bag away out of the trailer, and I was looking, it's like I could walk all the way around the buildings and only have to I don't know exactly how much it's going to add, but I'm thinking 3 miles will be about 8 laps now instead of 10 laps. So we shall see how it goes. The one time I'll cut the corners if I need a drink, because when I'm walking out here, I just leave my water bottle on the ladder I've got sitting outside the trailer. So I can just swing in there, grab a drink of water, and go on. And having watched a few, well, more than a few, but hiking videos, I'm glad my backpack, I finally got shipping notice on it. It'll be here tomorrow, in theory. Probably not before I go do my hike, but we'll see. And on the picture I posted, I had a couple of locals comment, I sure hope you got over to the cliffs and took some pictures there, because the actual name of the place is the Cliffs of the Noose State Park. Apparently there was some kind of a glacial shift, and there's a 90-foot cliff over there that leads down to the river. Okay, here's where I'm going to make the changeover. I usually walk up that way towards the truck and the trailer, but now I'm going to walk across the field to the dumpster and then cut up on the other side of the big building. And this should add, besides some a little bit squishy off-street walking, which is what I sort of need practice with. It'll just add some distance and some variety to the walk, so I don't have to, just keep doing laps on the parking lot on the days I don't go out to the park. But I said we were going to talk about my coffee experiment. So
I did drink a cup of coffee this morning. That's the only change I'm going to make. I'll let you know how I feel tomorrow, if anything has changed. But for now, I don't think anything has really changed much.
I don't feel like I'm doing any different. So, since I don't feel better or worse, basically no difference at all. On some days, if I feel like a cup of coffee, I'll have a cup of coffee. But I'm not going to go out of my way to drink coffee every morning like I used to. And that might be the one positive side effect from all this, is that now I can, before first thing in the morning, coffee is what was on my mind. I had to have coffee. Had to have it. But now I can take it or leave it. I could extend a little more by going all the way up to the front of the front yard, but that would once again put me right by the road, and I don't think I want to walk right next to the road. But I did that, and now there's a sidewalk that leads to the front door of the church that I'm walking on here, and that'll lead me back over to the parking lot, which I'll spin the camera around and show you when I get there. That's how much I've added to the loop. I forgot to spin the camera around on that back corner. I'll do that on the next one. But this is where I join back up with the other route that I do. We'll see how much it adds. There's some interesting tidbits though. I don't know if any of you are on Twitter or have followed Twitter and know what's going on over there with Mr. Musk doing the buyout and taking control. But one of the things I found out that sort of makes kind of sense now, for some of the things they tried to squash on Twitter and wouldn't let people post about. Did you know that the CFO, that stands for Chief Financial Officer, I should say the former, because Mr. Musk has eliminated him, but the former CFO of Twitter also sits on the board of Beyond Meat. That sort of makes sense now, doesn't it? And look, if you choose to eat that kind of stuff, that's entirely up to you. But what's the first thing we say about getting rid of bad foods? It's not, the seed oils are a good first step. Sugars and carbs are a good first step. But the biggest thing, in my mind anyway, that we get rid of first is the highly processed food. stuff that comes from a factory, pumped full of ingredients, a lot of which you can't even pronounce, but somehow it's supposed to be good for us. All this fake meat slop that they want to push on us is highly processed. Highly processed. A lot of it has pea protein in it. You know where you get the pea protein? From China. It's actually a waste product. I don't know exactly what it is they do with peas over there. But after they make what they're going to make, this pea protein is a waste product. And they sell it to us. And we put it in food. Fake food, but you know what they call food. So, it's entirely up to you. You can eat the highly processed goop, or you can eat real food. And that's really what it all boils down to. They're trying to tell us they're going to make us healthier by replacing one kind of highly processed food with another. I'm not a big fan of peas, but in my opinion, I'd rather just eat the peas the way nature intended. There is a watermelon vine out here. I'm going to turn the camera around and see if I can catch that. Interesting. I don't know if there used to be a garden out here and that's left over, or if some watermelon vines grow wild down here in North Carolina. I don't know. If you're from North Carolina, let me know. Is that something normal? Or is that something that was planted there by somebody once upon a time? I know in Ohio, well, southeast Ohio, where I'm from, in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, you can walk along the road in most places, and at the right time of year, pick wild raspberries and wild blackberries pretty much all day long. Okay, this is the other corner I'm at. Let me just sort of spin the camera around and show you where I'm at. That's that farmer's drive that I wanted to walk on. Haven't caught him out yet, but you can see the big sign there that says no trespassing. But yeah, you can walk along the roads in southeastern Ohio when they're in season. I would literally take a 2-gallon bucket out with me and fill it up with raspberries one day, fill it up with blackberries the next, and I would alternate days walking along the country roads around the house until Mom said, "Stop, we got enough berries." There was one year, I think I've told this story before, but one year Mom made raspberry pancake syrup. It was awesome. I don't remember how old I was. Somewhere in the probably 10 to 12-year-old range. I loved that stuff. That was great. And I believe it was my junior year, but it might have been my senior year in high school. Mom asked me if there's anything special I wanted for my birthday. And I said, yeah, I would eat a big stack of pancakes with that raspberry pancake syrup you made once upon a time on it. And she smiled and said, I'm sorry, Bob, I don't know how to make that. That wasn't on purpose. That was just a batch of raspberry jam that didn't set up properly. See? Making the best of your mistakes. So I thought that was kind of funny. What was I talking about before that? Oh yeah, and the coffee, I don't think the coffee really affected me negatively or positively. At least right now. It's only been about 3 hours since I had the cup of coffee. So I'll let you know how it goes tonight and tomorrow. And if there's any adverse effects, I will let you know about it in tomorrow's video. Oh yeah, and I talked about the CFO. Yeah, so replacing one highly processed food for another highly processed food. Does that make sense for the health of a nation? Or is it just another big corporate attempting to shift the way America eats to make even more profit than they're making now? Because we ship peas over there, they process them and ship the pea protein back. So people are making money literally on coming and going with the peas. And then I have no idea how much they pay for the pea protein, but it's probably not very much, or they wouldn't be putting it in so many products. So my personal opinion is that it's just another money grab by corporate America. And if you think corporate America or our government or anybody involved in our government actually has your best interest in mind over profits, you need to do some more studying. Yeah. Of course, since it's been raining solid for the last, about 12, 13 hours. The sun's out now. I can feel it steaming up out here. Probably going to be a hot, sticky afternoon. Luckily, last night was the warm night. It only got down to about 66, which was fine. I slept fine. But it's supposed to get down into the mid-50s for the next 4 or 5 nights. And that's perfect sleeping weather. When it's that kind of temperature, I just put my heater on the lowest setting. And that's just perfect. If I'm laying there in bed with my covers on and I wake up going, hey, my nose and forehead's a little cold. I wonder what's going on with that heater. And right about that time, I hear it fire up, and right back to bed I go. So That's about the right setting when it's going to get down in the mid-50s. Now, the couple of nights I've been here that it's gotten down below 40 into the freezing category, I've had to turn the heater up. It doesn't actually have clicks, it's got a smooth control knob. But for those nights, I turned it up to between a quarter and a half. Not quite a half, because a half for the smallest space of my trailer, that just sweat me out of there. But if I leave it somewhere between a quarter and a half, that's about the perfect temperature for sleeping on really cold nights. Yeah, yesterday was so much fun. It's given me the itch to get back over there. Oh yeah, I was starting to talk about it. It's called Cliffs of the New State Park. So they've got cliffs and a river overlook. And there is a parking area there where I can just drive in, park, and walk a couple of 100 feet to the overlook. But I think what I want to do is save that area as a reward for getting to about the 5.5 mile mark, because I can, if I take the lake trail that I was on yesterday and take that all the way around the backside of the lake, and then instead of taking the long route on the bird trail, I take the short route, and that connects into another trail I think it's called the Cliffs Trail. If I go that route, it's about 5.5 miles or so to get to the Cliffs Overlook. And I think I'm going to save that as a reward for that accomplishment. But we'll see. I might get too anxious to see them and drive over there and take a quick look at them, take a few pictures, and then go on about my merry way. But I really want to save. Hello, Brother Bernard. Pretty good. I really want to save the cliffs as a reward for making it to a certain mileage, which I should be able to get there. What I think I'm going to do when my backpack first gets here is I'm supposed to be here tomorrow. For weight and safety, I'm going to go ahead and throw my little first aid kit in there that I've got in the back of the truck. And I'm going to throw 2 or 3 water bottles. And then I've got a little portable camp stool. I'll take that with me. So then if I get tired and need to sit down and take a break, I've got something to sit down on without having to get all the way down on the ground. Because I am getting better at getting down on the floor and back up again. But I still keep chairs close so that I don't have to actually let my knees take the brunt of the weight, because they do still burn if I put pressure straight on them. Now, it's not nearly as bad as it was if I found myself accidentally kneeling for something back before Carnivore diet, even if it was on like a step that had carpeting on it. I would know instantly that my knee had touched the ground and gotten pressure on it, because it would literally make me scream in pain. It's not that bad. It still hurts. I definitely know that it's working that way. But it's not nearly as bad as it was. So I am making progress. And eventually, as I add things to the backpack to increase the weight and continue to train for the AT in 2025, I'll add a ground sitting pad, one of those. It's like a half-size foldable sleeping pad that a lot of people use for sitting on the ground or on rocks, that kind of stuff. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm pretty excited for this backpack to get here. It was only like 40 bucks. So I don't expect it to be great. But I was looking at it again, and many of the ultralight backpackers are talking about how light their gear is and how light their ultralight backpack is, because they've done away with the frame, the internal frame, not the full frame ones that like we used to have. You know, back in the Army days, there was a big heavy metal frame that you strapped onto your back that held your pack in place. And it was comfortable in comparison to other backpacks. But by today's standard, it was a real turd. But, you know, the super ultralight backpacks that are selling for $400, $500, $600 are like 1 pound, 8 ounces. Well, this backpack, it's a 50 liter, and it's rated to carry up to 50 pounds. And it's only 2 pounds, 2 ounces. So while it's above 2 pounds, it does not qualify as an ultralight backpack. It's got a built-in internal frame to keep it from just slamming into your back every step you take. It's got a chest strap, it's got a waist strap. I'm going to have to wait till after payday to get one of those strap add-ons that holds a water bottle right here on your chest to make it easy to reach. For the first couple weeks, I'll just have to set the backpack down and get into the water. Because I just, between the gas down here and the few things that I forgot to bring with me or I didn't think about, and since I'd let my meat supply run down, I didn't have anything to bring with me. That was intentional. But buying 2 big loads of meat for the freezer, I've just about exhausted what my retirement check will do. And I still got about 10 days. But I should be okay because I got plenty of food in the freezer to get me through. I got a full tank of gas. Well, it's down below full because I've gone into town twice. I took Brother Brandon, the guy who's in charge of the outreach ministries, which puts him in charge of the buses. I had taken him, I went down to the diesel service place, which is about 10 miles away, when he dropped off the bus last week. And yesterday I took him back down there to let him pick up the bus. So it's not still on the full mark. It's a little bit down. It's not all the way down to 3/4. It's about 1/3 down between the 3/4 and the full mark. So I should have plenty of gas to get through. I'm fine. I knew the types of things I had to have. Meat and gas for the truck. Everything else now I can just do without. Although I did order a couple of different styles of fly traps in hopes of getting rid of or at least cutting down on the number of flies. So I must have, they're not out of control yet. But if you kill 6 or 7 flies, like I did this morning, somewhere there's probably 10 or 15 more hiding and waiting. So I put up the last 2 strips I had, which are designed to go in windows. But since I don't have any windows, I put one on the back wall, and the one that didn't stick real well, I just laid across the top of my water filter. It's a big jug thing. Pour the water on the top and then it runs through the filter and goes down. It's not a Berkey. I'm going to get a Berkey at some point. But again, that's one of those things I have to save up for. This one was like $16. And I can tell because I tested it by filtering water at home for most of the summer, and then brought it down here, and I think we're on well water here because the level of impurities are up a little bit, and I can tell the filter is starting to slow down. It'll be fine till I get my next paycheck, but I'm going to wait and see. Maybe I'll take it apart and see if there's a way to back flush that filter, or I may just go to, I've got a Sawyer squeeze that just attaches to the top of a water bottle, and that comes with a back flush kit, and it's supposed to last forever. I mainly bought it for the trail, but yes, I'm starting to buy stuff for 2025 as it comes on sale. Because if it's on sale now, with the rate of inflation, buying it in 2025 could be as much as 50% or even more than what it is today. And it was only like 14 or 15 bucks on sale. And all the reviews I read online on YouTube and watched the videos, it's supposed to last forever. There's a little O-ring in it that sometimes falls out. So I'll have to keep my eye on that. And I looked at my kit. It came with one extra O-ring. And if you go to Sawyer's website, you can actually just order a package of O-rings. So it must be a common failure point. So I'm going to go that route. But yeah, if listening to me talk about backpacking stuff bores you a little bit, I'm sorry. I've already covered the stuff about carnivore that I wanted to talk about, because the main thing I wanted to talk about was processed food and, of course, coffee. Let me check my... Oh, okay. I'm coming around the back corner of lap number 5, and my step counter at 4,400 steps, because this one's a little different from the phone. The distances end up being about the same, but the steps, 8,000 steps on the watch and 7,000 steps on the phone equal about 3 miles. And I'm coming around on the backside of lap 5, I think it is. This might only be 4, it's hard to say. I don't keep track that well, especially when I'm starting to get tired. And it's steamy enough out here with a little bit of sun poking through and all the rain we had that I'm literally a ball of sweat from head to toe, which is good. Sweating is good for you. But I'll record a couple more laps, see where the mileage ends up there, and then if I have to, I'll go back out and walk a couple more laps, because now that I've gotten back above 3 miles like I did yesterday, I didn't even notice that yesterday's video was a pi distance, 3.14 miles. I was tired when I started editing that, and I didn't even notice. It took one of my viewers pointing it out to me that I walked the pi distance on what was Halloween, the biggest day of the year for kids eating sugar. I found that kind of amusing. I chuckled to myself way more than I should have on that. But anyway, for now, I'll see you at the end for some final comments. But for now, let's cue the music. Okay, cut the music. Thank you. I forgot to say thank you in yesterday's video. Did any of you catch that? I'm coming around the back corner here. I'm gonna grab my water bottle and go sit inside and cool off a little bit. According to my wristband, I need to do one more lap to break the 3 mile mark. But I'm really hot and sweaty, so I'm gonna go sit inside and cool off for a little bit. then do one more lap off camera. But remember, corporate America is not your friend. They don't care one lick about you. All they want is to feed you their highly processed food. Whether it be the standard American diet, sugar and carbs, or the new pea protein stuff, whatever it is, it's all just highly processed, designed to make a profit. Don't let your health be a victim of their profit. For those of you that haven't been able to tell, I've been saying things right after the break that are gonna eventually turn into shorts after the video is published the next morning. So what I said at the end of yesterday's video will be tomorrow morning's short. And hopefully I can keep that going. But for now, I do appreciate you all being here. If you're still here, why don't you go ahead and subscribe? Good grief. We're at the end of the video. There should be a pop-up box over here to show you the entire October challenge. Another one over here you've never seen before. Don't forget to get out there and be 1% better today. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow.